Oops. Sorry. Edrika, were you able to get the recording from last week?
Again, sorry, I had to unmute my mic.
That's fine.
I had to go on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube?
Yes, he just responded yesterday.
So how did you know to find it on YouTube?
He sent the actual name to search for. I'll tell you right now, 1 second.
Okay.
So apparently the classes are uploaded there after the classes are done. Sorry, the recordings are uploaded.
Okay, awesome. So this one is going to be late. It's going to be like 45 minutes late. Apologies, I forgot to start the recording. Okay, so what do you think is good about this email message? Is it good? First. Or do you see some weaknesses that might be improved upon?
With the subject,
Mm-hmm.
she or the person could have capitalized the contract word and terms.
Mm-hmm. That person is me.
Oh, okay.
You're right, though. You were absolutely right. Lead words need to be capitalized.
Okay.
You are 100% right. Anything else? What about the content? Does it get the message across? Does it leave any details out? It's short. Does it provide a call to action in the concluding paragraphs?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Denise, it sounds like you're gonna say but?
No. I mean, I think the whole email itself was well put together. It got to the point. So I mean, obviously there was a discussion prior to the email. So this email is a follow-up with basically the contract. And there is a call to in the closing. The only, like she said, the only thing I think really could have been done was basically the subject, like she said. I'm not sure who it was.
The T? That was Enrico.
Yeah.
Now, why not review all the terms of the contract in this email? This person, well, me, highlighted only the most important clause. Why not review? Because I'm sure it's not a contract based on this one clause. We're going to do a kind of introductory period, probably more binding clauses and covenants in this contract. But why make that choice?
It can be a number of things actually. Really, when you think about the discussion that y'all would have had, maybe emphasis was placed on, that contract, or maybe you had to do some research to, provide more information on that particular contract. So it could be a number of things why you highlighted that.
Imagine that you have 20 clauses in this contract. Are you going to include all 20? No. So what you want to do, in this case, it's one main clause or one most important, according to the sender. You want to include the most important in your mind because the contract is attached for, who's the person? Mrs. Dean to review. And so during the review, she will see the other clauses and covenants. This email doesn't have to be an exhaustive review of every clause in the contract. No, that's not the purpose. But no mention of anything in the contract would have been fine too, just that the contract is attached for your review and signature. That would have been good too, but the choice was to include the most important clause. right? And then you have the signature at the end. And embedded in this is if you have any questions, please call me. Now, this sounds like review the contract and sign, but what is understood or should be understood based on whatever meetings you've had is that if there is some discrepancy or disagreement, then we can discuss that, right? But you write at this point from the assumption that you've come to an understanding of the major terms, and this is all but final and can be signed, right? Yeah, so you wouldn't expect to go back and forth at this point when the contract is about to be signed. All the details have been ironed out before this, but it's possible too. And so the person sending this email leaves that possibility open. Like if you need to, you can call me, i.e. if you have questions or we need to hash anything else out. And then it ends with the name of the sender, their title, company address. But you wouldn't do that. If you send Miss Jean an email twice a week, you wouldn't include this information. And Stacy Butler might become regard Stacy or kind regards Stacy as your relationship improves, or all the best, Stacy, as you get to know Miss Jean a little bit better. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to share that quick example with you. I can email it to you because you will have to draft communication, various forms of communication when you write your final exam. And so these models are important. Okay, so now that we've done that, we talked about the basics email format. I'm ready to review the marketing assignment. I want to take attendance now though, while you get your documents ready to share. And I'm going to ask you to go in number order. Unfortunately, unlike the video assignment at the end, I did not write down your numbers for the groups. So I'm going to rely on you to tell me who's in group 1, group 2, or at the very least, you remember who your partner is because you've talked over this weekend and are able to present. I'm looking for the attendance roster. Here we go. Okay, so today is the 20th of October. It's almost Christmas. Is Natasha Augustine here?
Present.
Bernique Band? Bernique
Here.
Band? Tanishka Colebrook?
Present.
Helga, you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, Mikhail Nabi? All right, Edrika is here. Did Jules come into the meeting? No, Jules. Felicia, Janice, you still there?
Yes.
And Felicia still here? Denara Strong? Alina Stirrup is not here, and Denise Thompson is here. Let me check the participants list. Felicia, yes, Felicia's here. Okay, let me save this. Is anyone in contact with Jules? No? All right. So who would like to share? First, let me check my inbox. I have Natasha and Denise. Are you in the same group, Natasha and Denise?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So those of you who aren't in a group with either Natasha or Denise, please send me your assignment because I'm going to share it on screen. So we're going to start with Denise's group. I'm waiting on your download. And then Natasha, the rest of you, please send me so that I can share your assignments. All right, this photo is a JPEG. So, okay, there we go. Now let me try to share this with you. Who's your partner for this assignment, Denise? Let me see, I don't see a name on it. Who's your partner? Denise, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I was responding. I didn't realize I was muted. Felicia Pratt, sorry.
Okay, good. All right. So I need to get my notepad because I want to take notes. So excuse me for just 1 second. You and Felicia will present together. This looks inviting. Okay, 1 second. Let me get my notepad. All right. So Denise and Felicia. Okay. So let's give our attention to this first presentation. Start
Good
whenever
night.
you're ready, ladies.
So, okay, thanks. Good night, everyone. This is presentation of Denise and Felicia. And I'm hoping that our picture speaks for itself. I'm not sure exactly, Ms. Higgs, what you want us to do, or would you just care for us to read?
Sorry, so tell us what your product is.
Okay.
Tell us who your audience is, like who do you feel your target market is, and how would you try to market this product? So it looks like you're doing a kind of, what's it called? Where you have the boxes already prepared. Well, you called it the light treat boxes.
Yes.
But there are companies where they put the ingredients together and they mail it to you. So this is very popular right now. Okay, good. So let's hear from you.
So what we have here is personalized treat boxes, whereas we can engrave for you.
Did you say engrave? Sorry, are you signed in on 2 devices?
No, ma'am, I'm
Okay.
not.
All right.
That's me. I had a problem with my mic, so I had to change over.
Oh, so that's why we were hearing the feedback. Okay, Felicia, good.
So yeah, so we're able to engrave on glasses, on spoons, on bottles, whatever you prefer. On the box itself, we can do some engraving.
So what would you engrave?
Basically what you would like to tell the person in your life. For Mother's Day, we can put a message on the box. We can engrave on the bottles, the glasses, on mugs, whatever you wanna personalize it to do. We didn't want to just limit it to just personal. We also wanted to include corporate, whereas we do mini boxes, which are tokens. Inside the tokens, you can have fruits, wines, cheese, on a little note, basically about whatever the meeting or the corporate share was about. And our target market is not just a specific age. We wanted to include everybody in this great opportunity. We wanted to make it available for the young, for the old, for the rich, for the poor, and just make everybody feel inclusive.
So how do you go ahead? Let me hear what you're gonna say.
Our gift boxes, they range in prices. You can have a very basic gift box, which would of course be lesser in price.
I'm sorry, which would have cost what? I missed what
Which-
you said.
Which will be, you can have a basic box, which will be lesser in price.
Oh, okay.
However, it would still be very elegant and appealing to the eyes. And we can go from there. We have people with specific preference. They prefer champagne as opposed to ciders. Some people prefer alcohol as opposed to wine. And we can do this. We also include exotic jams. We have pepper jams, we have guava jams. You know, it's a mixture, a variety of what you like to have in your boxes. We market it basically through advertising on radio and social media. However, a lot of our clients tend to provide most of our services by word of mouth because they're so satisfied with the service that they get.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I have a little note I'd like to read.
Okay.
It says the light treat boxes are specifically designed with you in mind. What better way to show your affection than to create a gift that expresses love and sincerity? Birthdays, anniversaries, or just because. Through our customized packages, you are able to engrave meaningful memories on the hearts of your loved ones. Events and corporate meetings, we've got just the thing. Our personal mini boxes are the talked about token they'll never forget. From an assortment to choose, gourmet jams, salamis, cheese and crackers, fruit melodies, nuts, chocolates, wine, and the list goes on. Our treat boxes are affordable and easy to obtain. Try a delight treat box where our heart is your pleasure.
Okay, good. So I particularly like, actually, instead of where our pleasure is your heart, I prefer the slogan, why settle when you could pizzazz?
Oh, yeah.
Again, that's just me, but I thought that was cute and it was catchy. Okay, good. Any comments for Felicia? Any comments from Felicia first before we open it up to the class for feedback?
No, she basically said it all. Yeah, cater to everyone. We wanted to get something that is affordable. You know, when you're running around, can't find a last minute gift. I think this is perfect. This is affordable, and people tend to gravitate towards it because it's so cheap, but it's so meaningful, you know?
Okay, all right. So any feedback, comments, or questions for Denise and Felicia from the class? I think this is well done. What are some of the limitations of this product? One of the foremost limitations, something that we cannot ignore, is that this is perishable, right? It's not something that you can store or buy in bulk. So your cost is going to be high, especially for fruits and vegetables. The wine and the champagne, that stuff could be stored not indefinitely, but they don't have as short a shelf life. So if you were doing this as an actual business, that's something to think about. You need good storage, and you're also going to pay more because you can't buy in bulk. You have to, this is something you go out and buy when you get orders, because you want everything to be fresh. What would help a potential customer if they were considering delight treat boxes? I love this setup. I love that it's very visually appealing. What would a customer want though? And they want to get it from looking at the ad alone.
I guess
Oh, and you
price.
offer subscriptions, which is good
Yes.
because remember we're saying that's very popular now. These prepared and packaged meals delivered, but you have a kind of celebratory twist. So you do this for celebrations, and that's awesome because you can have a specially engraved keepsake box at the
Yes.
end of this, after you finish with the product. They need the price, right? So something that indicates what is included in each box, even if it's not a picture, but a description, a choice of wine, some size fruit platter, cheese, crackers, whatever else goes into it, as specific as you can be. And you need to have a low point, medium point, and a high point, because your goal, you said, is inclusion. All right. Anything else a customer might want on the flyer? What's missing?
The prices, the price range.
Yeah, the price range is missing. Something else is missing too.
A contact.
That's it. So how do we reach
Yeah.
you if we want your product? How do we get to you? But good. You need the contact, definitely. Otherwise, all of this visual imagery would be in vain. People would want to support you, but not know how to. So this is good. But those pointers, think about pricing and indicate that in the ad right away. And then how can customers reach you or contact you?
Well, we didn't want to put a price in because like the prices would vary. You could have a basic box starting at about $20. But you may also want to include maybe, you know, a nice book where you want to engrave, put a nice special cursive writing to whoever from whatever on our special anniversary, this whatever day of so whatever. So of course the cost is going to go up more. So this is why we didn't really put a price, because we didn't want to just people tend to, when they see, oh, but you have $20 on your flyer. Yes, it's $20. However, you're getting something slightly additional. So we thought about all of that. And I mean, I agree. So yeah.
But how do you get around that? What do you say? Prices starting as low.
Starting at, yes. And then, yeah, okay.
And then, so when they call you and they say, well, you have $20, what can I get for $20? You tell them what you can get for $20. And then you tell them about the additional, the add-ons, how you can customize it and how that impacts price. The $20 is going to get the call, right?
Right.
And the reality is some people aren't going to support you or buy your product. Even $20 isn't going to be something that they can afford, right? But they are going to be drawn by the visual imagery, and they're thinking, okay, the price isn't bad. Let me at least see if I can get more information, right?
Right.
Okay, good job.
Thank
All
you.
right, any other comments for Denise or Felicia? Okay, good. So let me stop this share. I am going to email you grades by Friday. Natasha and Praneek, are you ready to share?
Yes.
Now I see a Word document and I see a PDF. Which one should I open?
The PDF.
Okay. Okay, so let me try to, I'm cutting off some of it as I move this cursor. Okay, there isn't so much at the bottom that we need, so we'll leave it there. All right, so whenever you're ready, Natasha and Veronique.
Okay, good day.
Good night.
N&B Bedtime Body Wash. Time to unwind. Ladies, have you ever gotten home from work but can still feel the weight of your day on you? Do you take a long time to get settled and unwind? N&B Bedtime Body Wash is the perfect product for you. This body wash was created for all the hardworking ladies out there, and it caters to helping you relax and wash your day away.
N&B Bedtime Body Wash helps calm and relax you while cleansing and leaving your skin moisturized and refreshed. Our Bedtime Body Wash is enriched with vitamin C, D, and E that are vital for the skin, and essential oils such as chamomile and lavender that calms the body and mind, along with eucalyptus oil to relieve tension in the muscles. N&B Bedtime Body Wash helps to rejuvenate the skin, leaving it with an illuminating glow, and would be ideal to be added to your nighttime regimen to improve your sleep quality. The aroma of the lavender and chamomile will calm and quiet your mind. For best results, use nightly during your warm shower. Squeeze a small drop of body wash onto a damp washcloth or loofah, work into a rich, creamy lather, and then rinse thoroughly. Our product is dermatologist recommended and can be used on all skin types.
Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay, so I missed it. Did you say your target audience?
Yes,
I was
working
making
ladies.
notes. Working?
Working ladies.
Okay, so working women. Now, is it only for women?
Yes.
Yes, we
Why did
target.
I ask that question? Because in this age of inclusion, right, this might be.
I thought about that.
Okay, good. Any comments or questions, any feedback for Natasha? I think this is well done. What did they do well?
I love their drawing. That's nice.
Way to go,
And
Louise.
And we have, if this were an ad that we were listening to or looking at, we have information about what the product contains, who is it safe for. Your slogan is unwind time, good. And why would they market it to working women? They say working ladies, or how do they market it? Better night's sleep, it's gentle. Does it, and do you say hyaluronic here? I can't make out what's, let me try to make this bigger. Does that say hyaluronic at the bottom?
Vitamin C, D, and E essential oils to hydrate skin.
Oh, hydrate, I was gonna say. Okay, so hydration is gonna be important. I thought it said hyaluronic because women are always interested in anti-aging as well. Good, you get an indication of the size, and this is really realistic. How does the imagery around this product support the target market and its purpose?
It gives you an idea of actually bedtime.
Because you see
clouds and the skies and the stars.
Good. And
it actually makes you think about relaxing.
And the color is not harsh, it's not jarring. You see the flowers, which would be more appealing to women or to females. Good. I would, and this is again, a minor point, but make the product name and the slogan bigger. All right, and maybe not in cursive so that we can understand, but again, that's minor. This is excellent. What I thought about the last presentation too is that this is something that you can actually market or start as a business, especially Denise and Felicia. That's something that you can actually get done unless you're already doing it, right? But what do you need to start something like that? You don't need a location necessarily. You don't need startup. You need people ordering. You need the ability to engrave. You have to have the boxes, so that may involve some sourcing. But that's something you can actually do. This product would be a little bit difficult because there's some science involved, right? You're gonna need to have the right concentration and the right ingredients. But I thought this was well done, good. And the slogan is catchy. The description of the product and what it does to the skin and why we should use it is inviting. Good. Good, Natasha and Brittany. And it's good that I heard from both of you too. All right, anybody else? Okay, so let me stop sharing this. Now, what is the Word document that you sent me? Is it just a summary of
The Word document is what we would have read.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Janice, Edrika, I have 2 email messages from you. I need to take the last one.
Yes, the last one. I hope it's
Okay.
the last one.
All right, I'll save both and we'll check.
Okay.
All right, so Janice and Helga.
Good evening.
And Tanishka.
And
Yeah.
Tanishka, sorry, Tanishka. Helga Cummings. Tanishka Roll, is it?
Janice Rowe.
Colebrook, Tanisha.
Colebrook,
Mhm.
Colebrook, okay. Colebrook, no E at the end, right?
Yes, Mama E is at the end.
Oh, last spell wrong on my roster then, okay. I wondered, I was like, a Colebrook with no E, okay. We'll roll with it. Ooh. This is nice. Let's share it. What does Lawrence Roll say? Share it. So I'm trying to get, can you see? Oh, and Megan and Harry. I want you to be able to see as much of the image as possible. All right, so whenever you're ready, ladies, tell us about your product, who your target market is, and how you would market this product to that audience.
Good evening, everyone. This product here, it was a lot of thought put into the product on behalf of my group, Miss Janice, Tanishka, and myself. The product that you're looking at, you would see a beautiful white box with gold latchets and a pair of beautiful white shoes. So we all know that this symbolizes marriage or a beautiful wedding. And our product is named the Bridal Box / Things Remembered. And the purpose of this product is to capture the precious memories on a precious day. So the slogan is precious memories created by a precious occasion. Now, the purpose of this product is the planning and organization of a wedding can be time consuming and sometimes daunting for a bride. She does not have the time to savor those moments, and that may sometimes occur during the planning stage. As a part of the wedding journey, there are the bachelorette parties and bridal showers. During the gift openings, there are a number of congratulatory messages that are given via cards and small notes. They are sometimes left at the homes of the hosts, and they're no more to be seen by the bride or her intended spouse. The bride box can be used to secure these items, future readings, and reminiscing. While the bride is getting her makeup done, it's typical for her to wear a personalized robe. The robe will sometimes have her new name engraved on the back with the word wifey. In most cases, this is the last time that she may wear the robe, which will be stuffed away in a drawer. Instead, this item can be stored in the bridal box. Another keepsake is the shower and wedding invitation, which is a reminder of that special day. Remembering the unity candles, remember the unity candles you lit commencing your oneness. Well, these can also, these are also items you would have to keep as a reminder of your commitment to the vows you make. The bridal box comes with 2 personalized his and her coffee mugs. These mugs will remind you that the importance of taking the time to savor a cup of coffee together, along with good conversation. The salt therapy candle reminds you of the importance of taking a break and relaxing. Additionally, we can personalize the bridal box for you and any item you wish to include in the box. The bridal box not only reminds you of that special day, but it is a great way of saving memorable items to share with your children and grandchildren. So the purpose of the box, we wanted an item that was going to be able to last throughout the ages and something that was going to bring comfort in times of sorrow, especially in the days and times that we're living in this pandemic era where tomorrow is not promised. And if anything were to happen, we want persons to be able to reflect on the happiest days of their lives, which in normally a lot of brides and also grooms would say that the happiest days of their lives is their wedding day. So our marketing strategy is online ads and emails using cookies. With today's technology and more persons that are using platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also going into your email account because so many persons are working from home, we want to be able to send ads out to persons because if you send out these ads and it's a constant reminder of 2 persons what's out there and because we want to make the product unforgettable. Also, we do have to corner every part of the market. So we know that some persons, very few, may not have access to smartphones or smart devices, and that's where our newspaper and television ads would come into place. Also, the product is very beautiful, and we want persons to be able not just to see it online or see it through a computer device or a television device. We want you to be able to see it in person. So one of our strategies is to partner with bridal shops and bridal shows. And this will give the bride-to-be and others an opportunity to get a first-hand look of the product and familiarize themselves with its intended purposes. And we also want to partner up with various bridal boutiques to make our product a part of the bridal registry. And that's where items from your wedding can be kept in a safe place, in a beautiful box that you can pass on to your daughters, your granddaughters, or even your sons. So our target market is new brides, and we just want to create those memorable, beautiful memories that stem from a beautiful occasion.
Okay, excellent. So all keepsakes, thank you notes from your wedding you store in this box.
Yes.
And you said you have the ability to engrave it.
Yes, we have the ability to engrave it. If they want a customized, if they want the box customized, we can also do that also.
Okay, good. Is there anything like this on the market?
I'll be honest with you, it's the first time I'm hearing it from Miss Janice.
It's a unique idea.
It's something that I'm toying with.
Yes, it's a unique idea. And the strategy to partner with bridal shops and bridal shows so that people can see it. And I imagine, I can't see inside, I imagine it's lined with white satin or something that's equally appealing on the inside, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any comments for Janice, Helga, or Tanishka? Any comments? Yes. In doing this, actually putting this product to market, not for the ad. I understand, of course, that you got some limitations in terms of design. What would make this even more appealing? Janice says this is a business she's toying with. What would make this box even more appealing to new brides? Any ideas?
The engravement?
Yes, the engravement, but we need more pretty, right? Yeah. What do I mean by that?
More color?
It could be white, but maybe some gold
Ribbons?
or something. Well, not ribbons, maybe, because where would we'd have to loop the ribbons for something. We need some maybe more gold embellishment, and that doesn't necessarily mean glitter, but maybe the engraving on gold, maybe some floral details or some design on the box that is appealing to the eye as well. We have a classic white box. We could jazz up this box some more. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. All right, what an interesting idea. Any other comments or questions for Janice? Janice and Helga or Tanishka?
I enjoyed the presentation.
Okay, good. Very thorough. And the strategy was well thought out as well. Good. Okay, so let's move to Edrica. So Edrica was not able to attend class, but she made an attempt. And what's also missing from the box, I mean, it's not an ad per se, right? So we wouldn't expect to. Edrica, I need a password to open your file.
No, that's the wrong one. Open the next one.
Okay.
Sorry.
I mean, high tech and fancy. Okay, now I have 3, so I'm opening the very last one.
The very last one, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It's taking a minute.
Okay.
So let it open. Ooh. This was done in Notepad. Do you have a Mac?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I see when I open it.
It didn't open. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm.
Let
I
me see
saved it as
something.
a Word document.
Mm-hmm. Let me try to save it to my OneDrive. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see what happens if I try that. If I even have that option. Now, Word shows up,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no, let me see. I see an image. You want me to share this?
You can share the image.
Okay, all right. So we are looking at Edrica's product. She looks like an image of a dryer, the lint trap in a dryer.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. Do I begin?
Yes.
Okay. So my product, well, I have a question. The product that we are presenting, it's something that we thought of, right? Not something that's actually in the market already?
Something that you conceptualized, so you came up with, you thought of.
Oh, okay. So the product that I came up with is called a dryer with a lint disposal. My slogan is set it and forget it. Never have to worry about disposing your dryer's lint. Let your dryer do the work for you. My target market would be adults at home. And I'm not certain.
1 second, please. 1 second. Hang on.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I'm not certain if I got the marketing strategy correct, but I'll still give it a try.
Do your best. I know you were absent, yes.
Okay, so here are my notes. It is important to remove lint from your home dryer as it prevents your dryer from exhausting hot air, which can cause the dryer to overheat. Failure to remove the dryer's lint trap is the leading cause of house fires. Over time, that ductwork becomes more and more clogged with lint. Introducing to you, our lovely audience, here we have a product that can help put your mind at ease while doing chores. Too often, we have so many items to complete on our to-do list and sometimes get overwhelmed with the workload at hand. Yes, life happens. But here at Smith's Innovations, we have created a product with you in mind. Our patented dryer lint disposer gives you the freedom to not dispose of a load's lint. You are able to set it and forget it. You may ask, how is this possible? With a new
Yes.
technology that was created. So before I go on, this is probably not facts, but I made it sound real. With a new technology that was created, your lint is disposed in an vent that's attached to your dryer and made to be dissolved back into the air outside.
Okay.
It's completely safe and eco-friendly. Our products will be priced at an introductory rate of only $499. Shipping and handling is also inclusive.
That's expensive, Edrica.
For a dryer.
I thought you said $4.94.
No, $4.
Okay.
Shipping and handling is also inclusive. A 2-year warranty is given along with your dryer. We hope that this product meets your needs and accommodates your lifestyle.
Okay. Does this gross anyone else out but me? Having to take the lint out of the dryer? I don't like the feel of it.
I don't like it.
So I always take something and scrape it off because it's kind of, it's mushy and so I don't like it. Okay. So you have said that this product is marketed to the working professional. Is that what you said?
No, actually adults at home who
Okay.
I guess you can say working professionals.
So who do we market this even more specifically to? And not to be sexist or essentialist, but in the typical home, the busy working mother who has time to be cleaning lint from the lint trap in the dryer and disposing of this lint. And so you make it even more specific and market it to women. Good. Good. And then you talk about how it will be disposed. And I understand that you don't have a rendering of the product itself. It's something you conceptualize, but this is a good idea. Any comments or feedback for Edrica? What's going to be the limitation? For those of you who watch Shark Tank, what would they say? What would they say?
Someone is at the front door.
The limitation would be a lot of people still don't have dryers, so a lot of people.
So your market is very niche, and you made your market even more niche or selective by doing what?
I would probably
the high price point.
The price. It's expensive, right? It's almost the cost of a dryer. Maybe not landed, but it's almost the cost of a dryer, which is important. I mean, an important consideration. It's good that you have met a need, right? But for something that most people, so you and I are interesting, right? Aside the fact that we are grossed out by lint, most people aren't. Are they going to spend $500 for something that they feel no way scraping off, right, themselves? So you do a product like this for a lower price point. You try to get it for a lower price point, and then you improve the chances of, it reaching the market. Okay, but this is interesting. Good. Any other comments or questions, Frederica?
I really like the product. I like the product. I think she put a lot of thought into it, and I like how she included not just saving time from a task that nobody really enjoys doing, but she also spoke about the safety of the home and the house fires as far as a preventative measure.
Absolutely. Good. Awesome. And and especially look at how this is obviously a full lint trap. Like your lint trap should never be this full. You clean it after every load, right? But this definitely represents a hazard. Good, good. And it improves the shelf life of your dryer. Did you say that as well, Edrica?
No, I did not mention that.
But that's a good point to make. You do this and your dryer lasts longer. Excellent. So anybody else? Is there anybody else who's supposed to share? Okay, we heard from everyone. So I think you did well. The assignment wasn't meant to be too onerous. I hope you got the enjoyment out of working with your classmates and getting that interaction, because that's missing in an online class. I tried to come up with group assignments to make sure you don't feel like you're learning in isolation as much as possible. Okay, awesome. So you should all feel good and relieved that that's behind you. You did well. I'm going to email you my comments and grade on Friday. So now I've asked Janice to share her response to the bad news assignment. Are you prepared to share, Janice, or you prefer not to?
I can.
Okay, so Janice is going to read her assignment, her response to that assignment. Let's give her our attention. This is the bad news communication where you had to deny promotion. So let's hear from Janice. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Dear Mr. Colby, we refer to your letter dated October 1, 2021, seeking a promotion to sales manager. During your tenure with the company, your attendance has been remarkable. Additionally, we commend you on the timely submission of your reports. We value your contribution to the growth and success of the company. In accordance with the employee manual, it is expected that you meet or exceed your assigned monthly targets. The achievement of the targets results in payment of a quarterly incentive. During the last 4 months, you failed to meet your sales targets. As a result, we discussed with you during your appraisal review the importance of consistent performance. There has been some improvement, but more focus is required. The role of a sales manager includes the supervision of a team. This team consists of 10 sales agents and 1 administrative assistant. As a manager, you are required to motivate your team, provide them with tips on solicitation and closure of a sale. The monthly targets are also higher. This position requires an individual with the relevant skill set to meet the sales objectives, even in a depressed economy. As your performance is average, we are denying your request for a promotion and subsequent salary increase at this time. However, we are prepared to provide you with the necessary training and coaching. In order to produce a higher quality of work, we will enroll you in the personal improvement program for 12 months. We will provide coaching and training in the area of sales and business development. At the end of each quarter, an assignment is required, at which time your feedback is also encouraged. Mr. Colby, we believe that you have the ability to progress in the company, and we are committed to supporting your development. We anticipate that you will take full advantage of this training initiative and the opportunities for growth that it provides. It is our desire that you will succeed in your current role. Therefore, we anticipate your full cooperation. Sincerely, Janice Rowe.
Okay, good. So I thought that was an excellent example. Janice sounds like she gives bad news often in her current role. Any comments about the letter? What was good about the letter?
It was professional.
The tone was very professional.
It was very professional.
It
wasn't harsh or offensive.
Good.
She offered suggestions. And if I was that employee, I would feel encouraged actually, because if you listen to it, she made mention of his positive contributions.
Excellent. She made mention the things that he's done well, and she was specific about it. Your attendance has been remarkable. Your timely reports are also good. So be specific. If you're gonna tell an employee that they didn't meet the mark, start with that buffer and be specific with the good things that they've done as well. And then she was able to go to the manual and say, you know, your performance is only average at this point, but the manual stipulates X. And basically what she was saying was, you're applying for a managerial position, your targets are going to be even higher, and you're going to have to supervise and motivate other people to meet their targets, but you can't even meet your current target. So she couldn't say that, right? Because that sounds rude, but she was able to soften it and still get the message across. It's just excellent. So that was good. Janice, now I didn't share it with the class in writing, but I wanted you to share that. So those of you who would like a copy of it to kind of model in future, please, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you can contact Janice for that model of the bad news communication. Good. Any questions or comments before we move on to social media? Using social media, which has taken over our lives lately. Let me close out some of these open documents. I have quite a few documents open on my screen.
That email also, that didn't leave any room for questions. It was so informative that it told what needed to be said, and there was absolutely no
It's
question.
very thorough.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so Janet has offered her email address in the chat if anyone wants to reach out to Janice. Good job. Okay, so we were talking about email messaging. We had that marketing assignment. And so what have we been working on for the last 2 weeks? How to market and reach our target audience, persuading them to take a particular action to buy our product. So we're going to talk about how social media helps us to achieve that purpose as well. Let me ask you a question. What is your experience of social media like? How much time would you say you interact on social media each week? Which social media platforms do you use more often? What gets me, it's so interesting, and I'm always amazed when my phone sends me the message, when I get an alert at the beginning of the week and it says something like, you've used your phone 27 hours more this week than last. And I'm like, how is that even possible? What am I doing for 27 hours more? I wonder if that's accurate, right? But everything that we do on these devices is tracked, stored, right, and used for the benefit of some company trying to sell us something. So what social media platforms do you frequent? And what is the appeal for you? Why do you choose, for instance, Facebook over Twitter or vice versa? How much a part of your life is social media, would you say?
I frequent Instagram, actually. Instagram, I prefer Instagram because I think Facebook is so ghetto.
Okay. What's ghetto about Facebook?
Or maybe my friends just get away. I don't know.
They share too much.
Yeah, it's like everybody live on Facebook and
express themselves on there too much.
I kid you not. I have a friend. If she has tuna and grits with avocado for breakfast, she shares a picture. She's at the mall shopping, she shares a photo. That's every detail of her life. And I see that and I want to unfollow her so bad, but that's going to be a problem. But I see that and I think, if ever someone's trying to find you at any given time to harm you, they just need to come to Facebook, because each minute of your life is documented on social media. So Denise said Facebook is ghetto. All right. So what is the allure or the pull for Instagram?
Instagram.
I don't have an Instagram account. I don't.
Instagram.
Can you believe it?
You still have the occasional the everyday people online. It's just, but you see more businesses, you see more interesting things, you see like people who on a mission to come up in life or who trying to better themselves. And you still have the everyday average Joe Blow, but then you still see more of the, I don't know.
It's more progressive to you. So what is the goal of Instagram? What do you do on Instagram?
It's basically the same thing. It is a social media platform where you can stay in touch.
So you message people on Instagram and talk?
Yes, you message people on Instagram. A lot of people tend to advertise their business on Instagram.
Yeah, it's more marketing.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a marketing platform.
Okay, because that's what I thought. I thought you just kept posting pictures.
Yeah.
And people don't necessarily message you or talk to you.
No, you can message. It's just exactly like Facebook. You can message, you can talk, you can interact, you can, I mean, people.
Just that you don't have with
don't
your
have-
page, you don't have the option to comment, to write comments like, I'm headed to the mall, headed out.
Okay.
You can post daily, you can post every day. Just like you do on
Pictures.
Facebook. You can,
But you just tell your life story in pictures.
Yeah.
No, you can if you put a picture, you can have a comment under it.
Oh, okay.
I know, I mean with Facebook, how they ask you what's on your mind. Instagram
okay.
doesn't have that.
No, Instagram doesn't have that.
Yeah,
Okay, so you post a photo and then you share some, and so people post random things like them going shopping, or do they, like you said, they use it more for marketing?
People do the same average everyday posting.
Okay.
The same. There's a guy on that. He every meal he eats, he posts. Every job he does, he posts.
Okay.
But then besides that, you also have like, I don't know, it's more. I don't know. I don't wanna.
Maybe I'm gonna explore it. I'm not like, for me.
It's not as ghetto as Facebook.
Okay.
For me, Instagram is more controlled. Like Facebook, it have too much. Like, okay, if I'm not your friend on Facebook, I still could see your profile. Whereas Instagram is more controlled. Once I have my privacy settings up and you're not following me or whatever, you have no really access to me as Facebook.
Okay. Facebook is a little bit, it allows for more invasions of privacy, according to this. I think that's Tanishka.
Yeah, for privacy for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, they say there are ways around that. You lock down your page. Anybody else are frequent users of Twitter? Well, that hasn't really caught on in the Bahamas so much.
Now, I think Twitter is ghetto. I do not.
Yeah, Twitter is where people go to trash talk, and
I think Twitter is ghetto.
I am gonna tell you honestly, I have a Facebook account and that's it. I don't even post on Facebook either. It requires time for me, and it's just not something I have a lot of. And I don't, like, I belong to that generation where you to actually be my friend. For instance, I probably have a couple of friends on Facebook, but they're people who are friends in real life, like people I share things with. And so I'm very selective with the people that I add as friends on Facebook as well. But what gives social media its cachet and influence today is that everyone can be a content creator. You can have a page, you can express your feelings. There is an instant link between users. So I can communicate instantly with my friends. Now, mind you, we had this before with telephone, but Facebook is even more immediate, or social media is even more immediate and more personal because it allows for such free expression. And it connects people across the globe, right? I could be in the Bahamas communicating with people in China, Europe, other parts of the world. It is instant as a form of communication. And, we use it, a lot of us use it for pleasure or in our downtime, but we also get important news and alerts on these social media sites as well. If I want to know what's going on, or if I see something on WhatsApp and I'm like, wait, what's happening? Let me go to Facebook. And more often than not, someone has posted the latest news or account of whatever story is making the rounds on social media. It has also been extremely effective as a marketing tool because of how cheap it is. And its reach. It saves companies millions of dollars in advertising, and it gives them access to even more users than what they paid hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in advertising for before social media. Another thing about social media, though, and it's for this thing, that we need to be really careful. It's also up the accountability. It's made companies, public figures, organizations more accountable to consumers. So you don't put a bad product out there and not expect a bad review. And bad reviews can go viral, right? I think I shared the example of a bad experience with a major airline, and the employee of the airline said, go to Twitter, that's how you get a response, or go to some social media site. Because bad posts spread so quickly, companies are hiring professionals just to monitor their social media presence because they're aware of how important social media is, right, today in business. Brand and imaging have become even more important to companies as well because of the impact of social media, how to control that. Now, chapter 5 of our course text summarizes 5 key things that we need to keep in mind, whether we're a business owner or an individual user. So I want you to go to the top of page 126, chapter 5.1 in your course text. Let me pull up my copy of the course text as well. I hope we have time to watch the full documentary. Sorry. So on page 126, my PDF is taking a minute. Okay, finally. So at the very top of page 126, which is chapter 5, dealing with social media uses and messaging, there is an activity that I want us to kind of discuss before we get into our discussion and before we get to the documentary. So it says, imagine that, let me share the screen with you. Imagine that you work in the public relations and marketing department of a company, which is trending on Twitter because of a customer's record of his negative experience. Strategize, this experience has gone viral. Strategize how you would respond to the negative publicity and rectify the situation. Should you address the customer's concerns on social media, or should you discuss the incident with the customer privately? What does this negative experience reveal about the power of social media in the 21st century? Now, what I want us to focus on is that should you address the customer on social media or privately, part of the message. So as a group, let's use my experience with the airline. So let's say I had actually followed through with that, made this negative post, the post went viral, and the airline now wants to do some damage control. Should they answer me on social media, or should they reach out to me personally to address the situation? What do you think?
I
From a
think I
professional
should reach out to you personally.
Adrika says they should reach out to me personally.
Both.
Okay.
Yes.
Who says both?
Helga, me.
Helga. Anybody else
Yeah.
says both?
No, I think personally.
Okay. So only Adrika says personally. Now,
I said personally too, sorry.
who's that? Your mic didn't
Tanishka.
light up.
Tanishka.
Tanishka. Okay. So what does reaching out personally do?
It pacifies the customer, and because the customer would have made a huge, I guess, outburst on Facebook, if they are satisfied with how they were dealt with personally, they can now do a follow-up post and advise that, okay, the issue is now resolved and so forth, so forth. So I think answering on social media is a bit tacky to me, because it is a business and you still have to protect your brand. So I think that would be the outcome if it's answered. That's why it's dealt with personally as opposed to answering on social media.
Okay, so you get to a point where it seems like you are reaching that customer's level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Helga.
The reason why I said both is because I think they should reach out to the individual personally, but depending on how big the situation may have blown up on social media, I'm thinking a statement should be also issued out to the public and to their other customers, not necessarily addressing you publicly, that the situation that they're working on resolving the situation, but as far as to the individual that it happened to, reach out to that individual personally, not on a broad spectrum for everyone to see.
Right. So you need some personal contact because you want the individual to feel heard and you don't want them to keep posting, right? So you're going to try to diffuse the situation. You don't want them to be up like Donald Trump all hours of the night on Twitter, right? But you do need some social media response. Maybe it's not a direct response to this client or customer, because again, like Enrique's saying, you don't want to get on that level, but you need to address this in a public forum because it was made public. And so if you seem to be ignoring it or not handling the situation, then that could make you look bad too as a company. So that's why you see very general statements like at X organization, we value inclusivity. We value each customer and each customer's experience. And we are working diligently to train our employees. You hear these statements over and over again. And then at the end of it, you might hear them say, and we have reached out to this customer by name or whatever. We have reached out and we are dialoguing to make sure that this experience is an isolated experience and does not happen, because at this organization, the customer's needs always come first, something, but it has to be responded to publicly because it entered the public forum. And if it's gone viral, the negative responses to it are probably in the hundreds of thousands. It's reached a lot of people. And so you have to respond on social media, not directly per se, but don't just ignore it like you haven't seen it. And then messaging the customer in private and relying on them to kind of let social media know it's been handled is irresponsible. It's not really protecting your brand, because what is the likelihood of that customer going back to social media and saying they're working on it, y'all? Exactly. You control your brand. And so you get out there and you try to change the narrative. You admit that you made a mistake if there was a mistake. But if there's something related to liability, remember we said don't, right? You say something like it's being investigated and you want to emphasize your commitment to customer, which you show through responding to this, right? Okay, good. So now that we've agreed on the appropriate response when using social media, let's talk about what we need to keep in mind when we're posting on social media. So as with the advertising strategies we just talked about, when companies use social media for marketing purposes, they need to know their target audience, and they need to keep in mind how important engagement is. When we talk about engagement on social media, when we talk about engagement, even in learning, what does that mean? What does the word engagement mean? It's not the first step before marriage.
Being aware.
More than aware, because you could be aware of something and not act, right? Or ignore it. Still, engage means involved, committed, a degree of buy-in. You have their attention and you want to sustain their attention. In order to do that, and we're going to watch the video that talks about some keys: consistency, So if your customers have become accustomed to you posting once a week, then you need to keep posting once a week. You don't necessarily have to be on all platforms, but the platforms that you do use, you use to your advantage and you use them consistently. And that means not posting the same content every week, but creative, innovative content to grab their attention. Remember we said people are so inundated with information, it's harder and harder to keep their attention. You want to be concise as well. Remember the declining attention spans that we talked about. People aren't going to spend an hour getting to your point. A lot of them won't even spend 10 or 15 minutes. There's this new trend I'm seeing on social media now where there is almost this challenge message. How many of you actually read my posts? And then you see you're being asked to get to the end and do something at the end of the message as though challenging readers to give more of their time and attention. I don't know how effective that is, but that is a strategy that social media, companies using social media have employed because they're aware that they don't have as much time to keep the customer's attention. So consistency, engagement, knowing your target audience, what they want, how to get their attention and how to keep it is important. So it is 8 o'clock. The documentary that I have planned is about 40 minutes long. So I'm going to play it and we'll get through as much of it as we can. I usually try to end around 8:30 so that you can get a rest, because what we should have done, what we would have been doing if we met face to face was take 2 10-minute breaks every hour. But since we don't do that, we usually end around 8:30 or so. I'm going to play the documentary. And I think that in terms of its ability to hit all the main points in chapter 5, it's quite good. And it's also engaging too when we look at different professionals and how they use social media and what they recommend for businesses marketing on social media. So I need to pull up this video.
Maureen.
Okay, so I muted Tanishka. Okay. So please take notes as we go along. As I said, a lot of this is a repeat of the strategies emphasized in chapter 5 and even more detail is provided on how to use social media. So those of you thinking about starting your own businesses or who may move from their current role into more marketing and branding and managing a company's reputation, public relations, this is going to be quite helpful.
So I'm going to tell you who I am and what I do. I am the founder of Social Media Examiner. I am a blogger.
Businesses knew they needed to be doing this social media thing, but they didn't really understand what it was.
I would say that my superpowers.
Okay, so everyone can hear, all right? I'm sharing my sound as well. I can turn it up if you need me to. My sound is only on maybe 60%. Can you hear?
That is fine.
Okay, all right, good.
Are really in the world of podcasting.
Premier Facebook marketing expert and top social media thought leader.
New York Times best-selling author.
I've been published in the Huffington Post, Forbes, Inc. magazine.
It's social first, media second, and marketing last.
Social media is an ingredient. It's not the entree.
So the simplest way to describe me, though, is I am a marketer.
Hi, I'm John Lincoln, and I'm on a mission to try to figure out the perfect social media marketing strategy for business. I'm a digital marketing expert, but I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything. Over the next 24 hours, I'm going to be speaking to the top people in social media marketing. At the end of this day, we're going to figure out the perfect strategy for businesses.
On my journey, I'm going to be looking at how should businesses set up a social media strategy that delivers. What does a content marketing strategy look like? And what are the types of content they should be creating? And how often should they be posting? How many networks should they be on? How much is social media organic reach dropping? And how fast are social media ads exploding? Is social media right for all businesses? I think that's a question a lot of people have on their mind. Are there any specific strategies that have an impact for social that really get a huge return? And what do those look like on each platform? What does the future of social media look like? And what are businesses doing to get the biggest returns on social media now? To do that, I want to talk to some of the top experts in the industry. And at the end of the journey, I'll be taking what I learned to create the perfect social media strategy guidelines for marketers around the world. The first person I'm going to speak with is Jay Baer. Jay is a keynote speaker, New York Times bestselling author of 5 books, and the founder of 5 multi-million-dollar companies.
So I've spent more than 25 years in digital marketing. When I started in online marketing, domain names were free. You could just get whatever domain name that you wanted. And in 1993, my partners and I, in my very first internet company, sold Budweiser.com to Anheuser-Busch for 50 cases of beer. That is a true story. That's how long I've been doing this. So things have changed an awful lot now, and now I run a consulting firm that helps the biggest companies in the world understand social media strategy, how to connect with their audiences in a way that is visceral and powerful. The initial group of social networks that failed, FriendFeed, Friendster, MySpace, etc. I think the failure was on 2 fronts. One, probably too early, right? We're out there before the mass population was ready to connect in this way. I think we forget how different social media is than the world before social media. And also the customer experience, the user experience, the actual UI and where you click was not great. Like if you remember MySpace, it was a train wreck. Like really, really difficult to use unless you were a super power user. And so I think that holds you back. Today, though, sort of the next round or the second or third wave of social network failures are not because it's too hard to use, or not because it's too early. It's just straight competitive pressure. And frankly, it's Facebook strategically and intentionally squeezing the life out of competitors. That's what's happening today. It's not about customer experience. It's not about being too new. It's that when Facebook sees a threat, they do whatever possible to attack that threat and make it go away. There's a lot of options when you think about how to use social media marketing for business. I would tell you the first place to start is to use social media for customer service. If your customers are asking you for help in social media today, start there. The key is to use the parts of social media that you actually have a passion for. Here's something I've learned in my many, many years. If you hate social media, you will suck at social media. So if you're thinking, hey, should I use Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, you should use the one that you like the best. Because if you like it better, you will make better content. If you make better content, people will react to that content more positively and you'll have more success. I would argue that every business has to be active in social media, at least from a customer service context. It almost is the new Yellow Pages, where increasingly consumers who have a problem want to tweet the business. They want to leave a Facebook comment. They want to get a question answered in an Instagram comment. That's just happening. It's going to continue to happen. So even if for whatever reason you're not comfortable using social media for marketing, you should probably think about using it for customer service for your business. Now, can every single business use social media effectively for marketing? I think they can if They choose to put on a customer hat and to think about what would real people actually want to see from us in social media, which is typically not coupons, promotions, special offers, and bullet points. The reality is what a lot of businesses fail to do is think about what customers want when they create content in social media. They think about what's good for the business and they put that out there, and then they're shocked when that doesn't work. Well, of course it's not going to work because you've got billions and billions and billions of people using social media, and 0 of them wake up and say, hey, you know what I love most about social media? The fact that businesses use it. Those words have never been uttered, and you have to always remember that. We must stop random acts of Facebook. If you're trying to succeed with Facebook for your business, the worst possible way to do that is to add stuff to Facebook when you feel like it about a crazy random collection of topics. It simply will not work. You absolutely have to have a set strategy for what you're putting on Facebook, when, why, and for whom. In my business, we think of Facebook and all social networks actually as shows. So we use a TV network analogy. We say, okay, The Walking Dead is a show. It is on the same time every week. It has the same characters. It has the same pace. It is targeted at the same audience. Your social networks should be the same thing. So you have one or more Facebook shows. Maybe you do a weekly live video. Maybe you do a weekly quiz. Maybe you do a weekly feature on a customer. You have consistent shows and cadences, and that allows you to develop content that is A, of higher quality, and B, allows your audience to tune in.
So Jay made some really interesting comments and did an awesome job laying out the strategy. I expected nothing less. And one of my favorites was treating each social media profile like a TV channel. Think about that. You need a schedule, you need to have great ratings, and you need to think about every single piece of content that you're posting like a TV show that's going on the air.
We clearly learned a lot talking to Jay. Now we're going to go talk to Michael Stelzner. Michael Stelzner runs Social Media Marketing World, which is the biggest event in social media marketing. He also runs Social Media Examiner and has a top 50 podcast. Mike knows a lot about social media, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say.
The early days of social media were literally the wild, wild west. Everybody was rushing to this thing called social media because back then, 2008, 2009, we were in the Great Recession. Budgets were getting slashed, and people were looking for some new savior. And that new savior's name was social media. For any business that wants to get into social media, the critical thing is really to, first and foremost, know who you want to reach. Figure out what their interests are, what their passions are, and then literally give them exactly what they want for free. And what I mean by that is maybe give them a video telling them how to do something, maybe give them a course, maybe give them a graphic, maybe give them some audio, whatever they want, give it to them for free. Because people love to share tips and techniques that help make them look good to other people. So if you can give away stuff that other people would normally charge for, that can be exceptionally valuable. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you're getting started with social media marketing, you really need to be thinking about a content strategy. You really need to figure out what that content play is going to be for your business. The next step, and really the last step, is once you know who you want to reach and you figured out the kind of content that you want to put in front of them, then you really want to put some paid advertising behind that. When you're just getting started with social media, don't try to be everywhere at once. I think that that is pretty much going to result in failure. Instead, pick a place that you're comfortable and where you know there's a decent size audience, and understand the way things work on that platform and master that, and then move on to the next one. The Facebook algorithm really has been the shift that has changed absolutely everything for the marketing community. Simply said, it is smart artificial intelligence technology that is monitoring everything that happens on social and stopping marketers from ruining it. And let's be honest, marketers, we ruin everything. So the algorithm is really designed to make sure that our stuff doesn't get through. It creates a better user experience, but it makes it very hard for those of us that are marketers, because there was a day where we could post something and 100% of our audience would see it, and it would be shared thousands upon thousands of times. Now we're lucky to get a couple dozen shares. And the challenge that we're facing as marketers right now is that no matter what we try, the algorithm is smarter than us, is faster than us, and knows your game, marketer. I think we are nearing a place of Facebook zero, which is a phrase that many people in our industry mean, that the idea that organic reach is possible is going to ultimately screech to a zero. I read between the lines. I think we are approaching a day where we will not ever be able to get organic reach from posting on a page, and we may be getting to that point on every social network where the idea of building your home on rented land is going to become a real problem. If we accept the fact that algorithms are killing organic reach, what we're left with is paid. And I think whenever we put $1 behind anything, it better be trackable. And I can assure you that it is with every one of these social platforms. So, simply said, the future of social media is paid. And whenever you're paying, you can track. And whenever you track, you can measure an ROI. And what that ROI may be for you could be traffic, conversions, exposure, any one of those things. And it kind of is really up to the business to decide what it is that matters the most to them.
Amy Landino is a video marketing expert, and she's got some really great strategies for us to set our social media marketing strategy. Let's go speak with her next.
Your content strategy on YouTube looks like a couple of things. First, you just have to decide what is the promise that we want to make for our audience on YouTube and make good on that. But keeping into consideration that it is the #2 search engine on the planet. So the best thing you can do is be helpful, be resourceful. What is it that somebody you would work with wants to know before they'll listen to you about what you think they need to know, which is usually buying your product or hiring you for your services? How do you get them to that point? How do you coach them there? That's your content strategy. Everyone wants to know, how often do you upload? It's a great question. If you were to just get the short answer from YouTube, they would tell you that the industry standard is to upload once a week. Get good at that. Just get good at that. The best channels in the world, they have a once-a-week schedule. They nail that. They do an amazing job. They might start a second channel if it's more appropriate to do that. The lifespan of a video on YouTube is years versus on other social platforms where they die in a day. There's these 3 areas of content on YouTube that make a sustainable channel: Hub, Hero, and Help. Hub is all about making those subscribers happy. Hero is getting out there on a larger scale. And Help is showing up in those search results. You need a healthy balance of all 3. And you can do that on a once-a-week schedule, but you have to balance it out. You have to keep people guessing, but still make good on the promise that you said you were going to do when the channel started from the start. The biggest challenge is thinking you need to be on all social networks, be in all places for all people. And I think that's where a lot of businesses have gotten into trouble. They want to get the most mileage out of all their campaigns, their work, their videos, the stuff that they're investing in. But they're better off focusing and just nailing 1 or 2 of these networks. You don't have to be everywhere. Tell people where you are and knock it out of the park. The challenge, I think, is choosing where do you want to be. But once you do, you can go all in and succeed in such a big way that makes it completely worth it. The reason why people are mostly not successful with YouTube is they think all video platforms are the same. That's, like, simply put. So in doing so, you upload your video and you let it fly and you hope that the whole world comes to you or it goes viral. And that's a huge mistake. You didn't carefully craft your copy the way it needs to be, your title, your description, your tags. You didn't make that custom thumbnail, that one visual human SEO option that you have at your disposal, which is so important. You let YouTube pull one of 3 options for you, which is the worst. It's always the worst image of yourself or anything happening for those automatic thumbnails. Never do that. But just the biggest thing is not realizing that on the other side of the camera, that recorded this entire experience and is delivering a message is another person. The biggest mistake people make with YouTube video or any video at all is just realizing that they are talking to a person. They're not talking to a camera, they're not talking to a lens, that's just a device.
Now we're gonna go speak with Sunny Lenarduzzi. Sunny knows a ton about video. She's an up-and-coming YouTuber and video marketing strategist. I can't wait to hear what she has to say.
Video at this stage is, in my opinion, the most important part of marketing online. I don't think that there's any better way to connect with your audience than actually seeing them and them being able to see you as a real person. When it comes to the know, like, and trust factor, nothing does it better than video, particularly live video. And I think the proof is in the pudding. I mean, every single social media platform over the last year has adopted video and adopted live video and adopted things like stories. We have Facebook stories, Instagram stories, and of course that all stemmed from Snapchat. So there's a reason that video has become so popular on every platform and why people are clamoring to be using it to build their businesses and brands. And then as far as scripting, it's really important to script your videos in the right way. So having a really short introduction that gets people into the meat of the content immediately, because again, if someone's finding you in search, they're not necessarily looking for you. They don't want your life story. They just want the answer to their question, the solution to their problem. So you need to give it to them as quickly as possible to increase your retention and increase your watch time, which again, increases your ranking. When it comes to YouTube, for me, as far as analytics go, the most important metric is watch time and retention. So those two for me are king of the castle and the main things that I go after. So I want to make sure that people are watching the entire video the whole way through to increase my viewer retention, because that tells YouTube and Google it's a great piece of content, they should rank higher. And then of course, I want to make sure that people are staying on my channel to increase the watch time to give me more authority. So creating almost a spider web with my videos of one video linking to another, creating playlists to keep people on my channel longer. So those are some of the things that I do to increase those analytics and keep them in a positive place. And then obviously a big factor as well is engagement. So I treat YouTube as its own community, which I think you should do with every platform. And I'm making sure that I'm asking for likes. I'm also asking for dislikes, because that engagement also tells me a lot and gives me qualitative feedback to say, maybe that topic wasn't as good as another topic I could create a video on, and that helps me cater to my audience. I want comments and subscribes and all of the things that are gonna tell me this is a good piece of content, and also tell Google and YouTube, wow, this video has a ton of engagement on it. Again, we should rank it higher, which means it gets more views on a wider scale and opens me up to a whole new audience. I think it depends on the business, and it also, I think, depends on the objective. If you want a quick hit, short campaign and you want to go viral, Facebook's where to go. If you want long-term, sustainable, evergreen results and you want traffic on a daily basis from a new audience, YouTube's where you want to go. If you're more of a visual brand, if you're in the retail space or e-commerce space perhaps, Instagram is where you should be. So I think it really depends on what industry you're in and what your objective is with social.
Sunny made it clear that video is incredibly important for all businesses to utilize through their own marketing on social media platforms and on YouTube specifically. She didn't talk about just YouTube. She talked about taking video and distributing it across the web, which is something that I really believe in and do quite frequently with my own profiles. You can create one piece of video, chop it up, and then distribute it in the correct form across all the different social media platforms and get a bigger bang for your buck and really increase the size of your brand and reach. Her points about having video strategies that are specific to each of the sites really made sense. When looking at social media value and the last click attribution inside of analytics, which basically means looking at somebody who their last click was from social media and then they came to your website, you want to see traffic and you want to see conversions there. Also, you can use things like the linear attribution and multi-channel funnels model to track social media as well. What that means is when a customer is on a journey, sometimes they have multiple touch points. They might start on Google and come to your website and then come back from social media and then come back again from an ad. When you use the linear attribution model, what that does is that allocates a percentage to each of those steps inside of the buyer's journey. So 33% would be allocated to each one for the lead that came in. That to me is a really important point inside of social media marketing. Was it the first click on social media that then led to these other clicks and then eventually had the person convert? Was it the last click? Was it the middle click? Or was there no click at all? And so when it comes to attributing leads and revenue to social media, these are things that marketers really need to be thinking about. Mari Smith is somebody who's been doing Facebook forever. And next, we're going to go speak with her and just learn a little bit about how you should be marketing your business on Facebook. I actually learned about Mari over a decade ago when Facebook first came out. So she's going to be able to tell us a ton about the platform.
Facebook is the #1 social networking platform on the planet. It was becoming literally an ingrained part of our daily. Who would get up while they're brushing their teeth, looking, they're checking. Psychological, behavioral habit, you know, and so then that's really a big part of what makes Facebook so successful in the long run, was that incredible user adoption and the amount of times per day that Facebook users check on average 14 times a day, or some people 14 times an hour. Facebook strategy right now needs to be very much focused on 3 main things. Number 1, video. Facebook is on an absolute mission to dominate in the world of digital streaming video. Number 2, mobile. 90% of Facebook users access the platform predominantly on mobile. Even though we as business owners, we are marketers or providing business consulting services, we might sit at a desk all day and look at a laptop or a desktop. Or user, we have to remember that the user is predominantly on mobile. And the third thing is you must have an ad budget. Back in the day, it used to be that you could just do all this wonderful organic reach. I mean, I remember pages getting 200% and 300% reach, literally 2 to 3 times the number of fans they had. And now organic reach since 2012 has gradually been coming down and down and down. On average, business pages are getting between 1% and 6% organic reach. With those 3 components, video, formatting for mobile, and having an ad budget, they will form the basis of a really powerful strategy on Facebook. Where Facebook is headed in the future is most definitely digital streaming television. You will see in a short period of time that Facebook is going to be climbing up the leaderboard, competing with Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, of course YouTube, and they are really wanting to get the consumers watching the Watch platform. It's called Watch. You can watch it on desktop, on mobile, and on your television. And Facebook is really drawing in creators, more content creators, to produce television quality, episodic content.
Next, we're going to go speak with Sue Zimmerman, who's an Instagram strategist. She really knows her stuff when it comes to Instagram, which is one of the fastest growing platforms out there. I can't wait to hear what she has to say.
Okay, so it is almost 8:30 and I wanted to stop at 8:30, but I'm gonna stop the video now so that I can answer questions before our next meeting if necessary. We can watch the next 20 minutes of the documentary next class, that's no problem. But are there any questions for me? Or and not about the video or about anything that we covered in terms of marketing, using social media, or any upcoming assignments? Anyone? Okay. All right, I don't see any hands going up. So I'm going to stop this recording.